Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, forwards, midfielders, defenders, goalies, coaches, and yes, even referees, welcome to the longest running soccer show in St. Louis history, STL United Soccer Sunday, presented by the Pasta House, a St. Louis tradition. Today's show is brought to you by our friend Mark Niemeyer at NGK Law Firm. Remember, everyone needs a lawyer sometime. Russell here today, joined by Edmundo, bringing us tunes on the guitar. Our wizard reporter Josh Miggy, producer extraordinaire Super Ted Williams, a special guest to be announced later. And here is your host, the irrepressible Mr. Thomas Schwartz.
I don't know how I should feel about an introduction of Lola. When it culminates with me speaking. However,
well, you don't have much hair on your legs, so it works out fine.
Well, thank you so much, Edmundo. Hey, we're back. Edmundo is back.
Thank you, sir. I had a quick trip down to out of town with my mother-in-law. Good time.
Good. Well, we are back, and today's guest, Josh, is going to show you in 1 second. Perfect. Got to move the camera slow. We got rid of all the motion that we could.
It was a windy week last week.
It was a windy week, yeah. The flags were flowing. Jim Leeker joined us. Jim, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Everybody's doing fine.
From the St. Louis Hall of Fame. You got a bunch of stuff to talk about today, don't you?
Just that we had to follow suit with everybody else. We had to cancel our November banquet. It was a tough decision, but something that we really had to do.
So what is the new plan?
New plan is May the 13th. It's a Thursday night at Union Station, and we've got our fingers crossed that everything, all the compliances will be in order, and that everybody will be able to attend and not have to be necessarily socially, distancing from one another. It's kind of hard because we really don't know what the Union Station's compliances are going to be. I think that the evenings of the 1,000 seated banquet is going to be in the past for a few years.
Yeah.
I think people are going to be a little bit apprehensive, but hopefully we can have a nice sized crowd to complement the classes going on.
Well, I think everybody understands that this is just a unique year. I mean,
Yeah.
Until we figure this out, one of the things I've been amazed is how compliant the American public has been. If you would have said to me, "Oh yeah, people will, shelter in place," I would have said, "No way." And we were just talking about it. I've used half a tank of gas in 4 months.
Yeah.
And I think that's a pretty common experience. I think everybody's sick of it.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, we're not sick of COVID.
I actually have to have my service for my car, and I usually there before it's due. Now I'm getting calls from the service. Hey, how come you haven't called us to set up an appointment?
Yeah, right.
I just haven't been driving.
Well, and insurance companies are giving money back.
Yeah.
Right? I see all these ads on
Haven't seen
TV.
it yet.
Huh?
Haven't seen it yet. Got a whole $26 there.
Yeah, right. Hey, Josh, show Ted for us, will you? People know and love Ted. Well, they know him anyway. Or they love him anyway.
They love him.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
What are you going to talk about today?
There's still preparations for the NWSL Challenge Cup. NWSL will be the first North American professional team sports league to begin their season or begin play, and that'll be next Saturday. There'll be a match during the day, and there'll be a match that evening. The marquee match is Portland Thorns, Becky Sauerbrun's new club, versus the two-time defending champion North Carolina Courage.
Uh-oh. Turn that up, Russell.
That's as loud as she goes.
Oh, we'll put it closer to the thing.
We do have a score update. It's in the 78th minute. It is Newcastle United 3, Sheffield United 0.
Wow, our first score update.
Good to have live score updates again.
Yeah. Yeah. So Ed, what else you got planned for us today?
Tom, I will regale you with stories of things I learned this week in travel, my experiences in life, and just the usual.
Josh, I don't know about you, but I got to hear some of this right now. What's our time deal here?
We're good.
Oh yeah, okay. Give us one of those things.
You can drive to the Gulf Shore of Alabama
Oh, I love it.
easily in 12 hours.
Yeah.
And,
Lots of people do that. Some people do it in 11 and a half.
Some people do it in 11 and a half, but you
Which
know,
way did
Tom,
you go?
I like to slow down and take in.
Which way did you drive?
I went 2 ways. I went down through Memphis and through Jackson. And
Jackson, interesting
and then
drive.
I came back up through Birmingham and Nashville.
That's the way to do it because you really get totally different views.
There is more mileage of interstate. It's a little longer, but it's just
Through Birmingham.
Yeah, it's just an easier drive because you're
totally
interstate from my exit to 30 miles. From
It's like here you're trying to decide, well, should I really get on 270 or should I drive across town?
Yes.
No, you should get on, I mean, if you're trying to make it and not go crazy. Although I hate 270.
We had very nice weather. One of the things that about where we stayed, we were in a turtle nesting area.
Oh, cool.
So did see a couple of turtle nests that were roped off, but the nice thing is at night they practice a dark sky lighting system.
What does that mean?
Well, they turn off a lot of lights so the turtles, it's still the tail end of nesting season, they can get disoriented and they want them to come up on shore.
So where'd you stay?
The Gulf Shores, Alabama.
No. I mean, where at? Like at a big unit?
Yeah, it was up on a shelf.
Yeah.
Big condo. But it also, the moon did not rise until really, really late, like at, 4 in the morning. So that meant at night the sky was really dark. I mean, when was the last time you saw the Milky Way at night here?
Oh.
Yeah.
Never.
And so it was just really great
So
to
you
be
got
out.
to see the Milky Way in Gulf Shore?
Yeah. The sky was really dark, and you could,
Okay, I want
we
to
were
go
looking
again.
directly south, so you see a lot of those southern constellations that you don't
Oh,
really
yeah,
see
yeah.
easily here. So it was pretty.
I prefer
pretty.
Orange Beach myself.
Well, it's right next door.
Yeah.
I visited the lovely Twin City of
Twin
Orange Beach.
City. Hey, why don't you pick up your guitar and play a little tune, and we'll go out. What's the next segment? Ooh, I get to direct. We're going to talk about the EPL. Okay. Very well done, Edmundo. It's great to have you back.
Thank you.
Because like I was trying to do the YouTube thing and it just didn't work
Remember
out.
when Tom pulled out his ukulele and
Yeah,
tried to
that was weak. That was weak. All right, Josh, let's talk a little bit about the EPL.
Yeah.
Give me what a week, huh?
First week back, plenty of action, games pretty much every day, and that's how it's going to be for this first week or so. We got a match going on right now, and it's just nice to be back. I think it was a weird feeling, because usually this is the off season, and you're either watching an international tournament or there's some downtime, but to have Premier League and the other soccer leagues fill that void, it's been really nice. So, first week back, the matches came back on Wednesday. The first match was Aston Villa versus Sheffield. It drew 0-0. Why would I be talking about a 0-0 match other than it being the first one back also? Because
there was a little controversy.
Because we didn't even get through the first one half of football before we had controversy. And it didn't have anything to do with VAR, actually.
Well, it had something to do with not using VAR.
Right. Well, I'm told that they couldn't because there's something in place to take care of these situations, but it didn't work. So what happened, Tom, in this first match was that a free kick came into the box, collected by the goalkeeper of Aston Villa. He was falling backwards. He then ran into either someone on his own team or a striker, and he fell into the net. Ball in his hand. He tries to pin it against the post. but it's clearly over the line. You can see it on just normal cameras, normal replay, or whatever. So everyone looks to referee Michael Oliver to use the goal line technology, which is supposed to buzz him that the ball's over the line, it's a good goal. Well, he never got that buzz. And players were yelling and screaming that it was a goal at over the line, but he goes by what his watch says, and his watch said it was no goal. We find out later that either the system, the goal line technology, people who make that system say that of the cameras used in goal line technology, they were all obscured by either the post, players, or the goalkeeper, and that the camera did not capture the fact that the ball, even though we clearly saw it, went over the line.
8 cameras, wasn't it? Something like that?
Something like that.
First time in 9,000 games.
First time in
apparently, the
9,000
system
games
failed.
that the system failed. And Sheffield didn't get that goal. They ended up not scoring the rest of the match and ended 0-0, which was an important point for Villa and an important 2 points missed out for Sheffield, who are now feeling the effects of that here in their current matchup. So, first game back, controversy right out of the gate.
Couldn't the linesman have said something?
Again,
I didn't see I thought about it later. I didn't see the position of the linesman. Was he? He'd have to be.
Well, he had to be on the line.
He'd have to
He'd have to be on the line and
Yeah.
stay on the line. Sometimes after the kick's taken, they wander off the line a little
Yeah,
bit.
but still.
If he'd been there, you'd think he would have seen it.
Right, but you make that excellent point. Why can't they use VAR in those situations to correct that?
Yeah.
I've told
Yeah.
them they couldn't use it because the goal line technology is used for the goals, which is why it never came into play. So
That rule may change.
exactly, it was a bad, controversial situation that ended up affecting the match.
Kind of unforeseen, I would say.
Exactly. The other match, on the other hand, didn't have any controversy. It just had, poor play from one side. Man City versus Arsenal, big game. Arsenal came out, played pretty well, I would say. The problem being they had 2 first-half injuries that they had to make substitutes on. Now,
Right.
of course, that helps that
Right.
they have 5 subs, but to have to change tactics so early in the match.
And the
throw
other
them
thing
off.
is you can only do the substitutions in three times outside of half time. So
Correct.
they're down to 3 subs left, but you have to do them all at once.
Exactly. And of course, one of the subs that they brought on was David Luiz. Well,
Oh my
David
God.
Luiz was fine for a little while until the end of the first half, where a ball came towards him. He kind of did one of those like karate kick things, and it bounced off of his thigh there and went towards the goal, where Hume Sterling picked it up and then put it into the back of the net. So that was one mistake. But 1-0 down, it's not the end of the world. You have plenty of time to come back. Well, 4 minutes into the second half, Raiders all get rehead again, and was beaten into the box by one of the Man City players, drug him down. Penalty was called. Not only that, clear and obvious goal scoring opportunity. He was red carded, so the double whammy of being sent off and conceding the penalty. Kevin De Bruyne steps up and scores it. It's 2-0 City, and from there on, City control the game, and it's basically a done deal. Ends up 3-0. One man just completely, capsizing the match.
Does he ever step on the field for Arsenal again?
I don't know how you can, because obviously he was in the starting lineup, so
Right.
Arteta didn't really have any plans to use
Okay,
him.
but who knows? I mean, you're talking about a lot of teams are using squad rotation because of so
Right.
many games. So maybe he was in the plan for the next game.
Exactly. Well, yeah, because they had the 2 games this week, so who
Right.
knows? But yeah, I don't. His contract is up at the end of the year. I know they had been negotiating with him. I would cut ties with those negotiations immediately. It was a clown show. And real quickly, because we'll have other segments to talk about, Friday's match I really want to talk about was the United-Tottenham match, which was, again, huge implications, Champions League implications, both teams fighting for one of those last few spots. A lot of players back. Harry Kane and Heung-min Son started for Tottenham. Rashford started for United. Pogba was on the bench, which was a key point. In the first half, which was just, again, fairly even play except for one key moment. Tottenham kind of were breaking the other way. One of the guys they had picked up in the January transfer window, Bergwijn, was able to just beat Harry Maguire clean. I mean, Maguire was twisted and turned.
Yeah.
That's $90 million worth of defense right there. That looked like, $5 of defense. He looked lost. Bergwijn beats him into the box, not outside the box still. Fires a wicked shot. I will give him this. It was a really hard shot, but it was right at De Gea, who I've been told still is one of the top 5 goalkeepers in the world. Didn't show it on this play.
Yeah.
Completely just,
He did
pulls
make a
it
nice
up into the net.
save later.
Yeah, exactly.
but-
5 minutes later,
Yeah.
he makes a good save, but
Yeah.
at this point in time, when the ball's right at him, I mean, he completely botches
Hey,
it.
hey, Jim, we still got a few minutes left in this segment, and Jim brought up a player earlier that we saw in the Wolves game. Who's that guy? I know you probably have him later, but let's
Yeah.
talk about him now.
Yeah, Adama Traore, who came on. Kind of
Say
like
that slowly because it's a hard name. What is it?
Adama Traore.
Traore.
Mhm.
Traore.
Yep.
Okay. Where's he from?
It's French, I believe.
He's French?
I think he's. Let's look it up because
Okay.
Maybe.
Traore is also.
Traore sounds Italian.
His
No, it's
story
also
No.
a name from Ivory Coast or something.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
what I thought.
His story is he was a high-level prospect for Barcelona that never worked out, so he came to England.
He's not their body type.
Maybe not. Came to England, still was learning about his body, learning how to play, so he played for Middlesbrough, I believe,
Middlesbrough, that's right. Yeah.
before moving on to Wolves, and now it's completely blown up to the point where it seems like I remember hearing that Man City was interested.
Describe his
Well,
body.
Klopp said about Traore, he's unplayable. He's to defend.
Yeah.
Right.
I would-
Describe his body.
I would describe him as a rugby player.
Yeah.
Basically.
And for people who don't know really what rugby player is,
Legs just completely muscles
closest
bulging out.
approximation would be perhaps.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking more
Unbelievable.
more like a middle linebacker.
Yeah.
Not the biggest middle linebacker, but kind of a small. I mean, what is
Yeah.
he? He's
Whatever
not 6
he
foot. Is he?
doesn't have in height, he makes up in muscles.
Oh, he's
and
unbelievable.
speed.
The one play we were talking about it earlier.
Acceleration is the key.
Yeah.
I think
it's control of the acceleration and his body position.
Well, in a couple minutes yesterday, he demonstrated both those skills.
Right.
Because he looked like he was walking, and then bang, he took off.
But on top of that, now he's got the skill with the ball.
Right. Well, but to me, a major thing is what I saw yesterday was just here's a guy who knows how to. He is extremely strong, and knows how to. He's again. We were talking earlier, Josh, like a point guard in the NBA right now, like James Harden or Westbrook.
Yeah.
Guys who go into the paint looking for contact.
Correct. They're not afraid to
But
initiate
with the
it.
skills, I mean, pinpoint cross
Sure.
for the first assist on the first goal.
Yeah.
He didn't get the assist on the second goal, but he made the second goal.
He started the
I mean,
movement.
he
Yeah.
started the movement.
He would have gotten a hockey assist. But yeah, basically, and it's the same in the United game actually, where an impact sub comes into the match. And the thing with Russell on that first goal is we talked about all those natural skills and his speed and acceleration, but he has the ability to stop it on a dime and put in that perfectly played ball. I said that's the easiest header Jimenez is ever going to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I don't think the guys really expected the ball to be there, and he's basically all alone in the 6-yard box and just thinks it in for the first goal. Wolves to that point had chances, but then weren't putting the final pieces together, and he came on, completely changed the impact of the game. Like you said, also led up to the second goal. So,
Josh, 2 minutes left in this segment.
yeah.
Give me something that.
So in that United Tottenham game, the mistake happens at halftime. I don't know if anybody saw Roy Keane. His halftime analysis went viral on Twitter because he basically told De Gea and Maguire, he said he wouldn't even let those guys back on the bus. He'd send them on a taxi home to
And
Manchester.
he probably would.
Exactly. I mean, so it looked all bad. But as I said, like with Traore, an impact sub came in the match. That would be Paul Pogba. And when Pogba came on, completely changed it for United. Eventually won them the penalty that Bruno Fernandes was able to convert. It was the first time those two were on the field at the same time. It was a joy to watch. United got a second penalty called for them, but it was overturned by VAR because it was a clear dive and shouldn't have counted. And the match ended 1-1, which obviously isn't good for either side in terms of their fight, but United saving a point and seeing Pogba coming out of the match and be impactful has got to be a good sight for them to see.
I think that Pogba-Fernandes connection looks really, really good.
Exactly. I think that if they're able to keep Pogba for next season, those two together, and along with Rashford, can really be the building blocks for that team.
All right. Well, we'll be back to the Premier League because, man, it was great to have them back. But we're going to segue now into Ted's report where he talks about the women's game.
Thanks, Tom. NWSL Challenge Cup begins next Saturday. We have two matches, Chicago Red Stars, Orlando Pride, and then the marquee match, probably of the event prior to the knockout stage, is Portland Thorns versus North Carolina Courage. Arguably the two most successful franchises in the league's history. Portland Thorns is Becky Sauerbrun's new club. Becky will be forming a formidable center-back pairing with a young lady named Emily Menges, who has been one of the top defenders in the league for several years now. So between the attacking style of North Carolina Courage, they're just relentless. They regularly outshoot their opponent 3-1. and the now bulked up defense of Portland Thorns, along with their attacking prowess with the likes of Tobin Heath, Lindsey Horan, and the all-time FIFA women's goal scorer, Christine Sinclair. This is why I'm missing NWSL so much, matchups like this. So, in prepping for the event, which will be held in Utah, the venue for the group matches is not the large stadium where FC Royals and the MLS club play. It's a smaller venue that seats 5,000 or 6,000, which doesn't make any difference. There's not going to be any fans, but from an infrastructure and cost standpoint, I'm sure it's a lot less expensive to hold the games in that venue. And it still has the sight lines for the cameras. The media coverage for the event will be the CBS Sports family of networks. So I'll post things on our Facebook page and our Twitter feed that gives you an idea of where you can watch the matches. I'm not sure if any of them will be on Twitch, which is another media partner for the NWSL this year. You've read a lot this week as the college football teams and the NBA and several other organizations start to gather again to prepare for some sort of a season, that the COVID-19 cases are starting to bubble up again. NWSL has reported one case of COVID-19. There's been no indication that I've read of the player's name, which club they're with, etc., but they're following the normal protocol. This event is being held in an isolated environment. Deloy Hansen, who owns the FC Royals FC, is a real estate magnate in that part of the country. He has provided all of the places to stay, the transportation, the amenities, the facilities for training and matches. So the league is set up to have this event health allow. Another bit of news this week, it's been long rumored since Mia Hamm became involved in the ownership group with LAFC of the MLS, that somehow she would become part of a group that would bring an NWSL franchise to LA. Those rumors have started to percolate again this week, but ironically, and I was just trying to confirm it, but I don't believe that people are thinking it's the LAFC group. It's somebody related to the Galaxy. Either way, the league could use a team in LA.
I love LA.
And the brand,
Yes, I don't.
the brand could use a dose of Mia Hamm and having her involved in the league. The teams, if they're not already in Utah training, should be arriving shortly. I mean, they're a week out in some cases from their first matches. I'm not going to lie, I'm excited to see women's soccer. It's my favorite sport to watch, and seeing Portland Thorns and North Carolina Courage next Saturday, you'll know where I'm at. I'm going to be in front of a device watching. So,
Ted, so we know about Becky having a new team this year. I'm sure she's not the only person in that situation, all the player movement from this past offseason.
yeah.
Since they haven't had any matches to play, is that something to look out for? These new players on new teams, this is their first, chance to get to know their teammates in a game environment, and it's one of the strangest environments in history. So how do you think that's going to go down?
I think that it's really going to hurt the teams that have new players. Portland's pretty much the same team with Becky added. The Courage is pretty much the same team with a couple of new people added that are going to help. Orlando, who plays Chicago Red Stars, has a number of new players. And Chicago Red Stars is pretty much the same team, except now they have Kalia Ohai. So, Portland, Courage, Red Stars. They're the odds-on favorites to advance to the knockout stage. But if this would have been a normal season, those would have been 3 favorites to advance to the playoffs anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm anxious to see Sky Blue FC. I've talked in the past, Sky Blue FC's franchise was a mess. An embarrassment, quite frankly, to a sports league that is trying to make its mark. And between some ownership adjustments and a general manager who really gets it, Sky Blue FC is a team to watch this year. So.
Just real quick, Lindsay Eversmeyer made an announcement.
Right.
That the league is canceling the
Yes.
the season this year.
WPSL is not
The
having its.
WPSL is down for this season.
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me. That's an extension of all the collegiate play.
Yeah.
I've been told that American Legion Baseball has been canceled. Metro Collegiate Baseball League's been canceled. So it doesn't surprise me. It's a league that's run on a very thin budget.
And our future star from a few years ago, Maddie Fagorni's hitting the nets over in Denmark.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Yes.
It's great to
That's
see young women get a chance to continue to play the game they love, whether it be in North America or over in Europe. Some of those adventures they have in Europe are change their lives.
Yeah.
Hey, Ted, just another update on the NWSL coming back. I know Megan Rapinoe is not going to be playing in this tournament. Are there any other players who, for various reasons, because I think she's just said, she's far enough in her career in terms of this, how this format is coming and the time they're coming back. It's just a tough toll to take. Is there any other players in that situation, or will any teams, are missing players due to injury still, or?
The only other major player that has said that she's not interested in participating right now is Kristen Press, and she plays for the Utah Royals. So, you know what? It's their decision, and none of the other players seem upset about it. They're like, hey, we respect their choice.
But still, like you said, regardless of who's out there, they'll be the first, league back.
Yeah.
And we'll be on a pretty darn good, platform with CBS
no doubt.
networks.
Yeah, there was a time when they came back, you'd be looking for it on YouTube.
Right.
Okay, and you know what? Of all the platforms they've had, if you want to watch an archive game, it's those years they were on YouTube. You can find the matches. If it's not related to YouTube, it's a little more dicey. So it is what it is.
2 minutes?
I don't
You're
need
done?
any more time other
All right.
than Happy Father's Day. Any of my friends or family that
Elmer!
see this video, I love you, and thanks for being a part of my life.
It's a timeless introduction.
Why?
Who knows? Just for change.
Bong! Bong! Bong!
All right, thank you.
Scores is brought to you by Tango in St. Louis. Tango in the time of coronavirus is still taking an extended break. So a little history today. Tango dancing reached its height of popularity in Argentina during the Second World War when access to music from the outside world was restricted, so only tango music. Then in the middle of tango's so-called golden era on a typical Saturday evening in Buenos Aires, one could choose to dance tango at dozens of packed venues, all with live music by the various celebrated orchestras whose recordings we now dance to at present-day milongas.
I have a question. If you were doing a chronology, what exactly would have the golden age have been?
Of tango.
Yes.
So it would begin in the late 30s and run through the early 50s.
30s and out of Buenos Aires.
Yeah. Buenos Aires and well, they say also in Uruguay and Montevideo.
Yeah, and then in Paris it got picked up.
Well, in Paris was earlier, actually. Tango
Actually.
went to Paris around 1910, 1911.
Didn't cut it?
No, it became very popular in Paris, and but of course that was a particular kind of music at that point in time.
Yeah,
Not the music that we had later in the
Yeah.
late 20s, 30s, and 40s.
I see. So the golden age again would have been.
Mid 30s to the early 50s.
Thank you, Russell Black.
You know, when you go and there'd be different venues. Some were very small, packed venues, and a particular style of close dancing developed there. And some others would be like a gym setting and massive.
None of that, no more though.
Not right now, absolutely. It's, as I said, everyone's taking extended break.
Well, I probably should have listened to you.
All right, and now the scores at 3 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. English Premier League, Wednesday, Aston Villa 0, Sheffield United 0. Manchester City 3, Arsenal 0. Friday, Norwich City 0, Southampton 3. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Manchester United 1. Yesterday, Watford 1, Leicester City 1. Brighton and Hove Albion 2, Arsenal 1. West Ham United 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2. Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2. This morning it was Newcastle United 3, Sheffield United 0. In just a few minutes, the game between Aston Villa and Chelsea will begin. And at 1 p.m., it's the Merseyside derby between Everton and Liverpool. Tomorrow, Manchester City take on Burnley. German Bundesliga. The title has, of course, been decided. Goes to Bayern Munich for the 8th time in a row.
In a row.
Saturday, Bayern Munich 3, Freiburg 1. Cologne 1, Eintracht Frankfurt 1. Düsseldorf 1, Augsburg 1. Hertha Berlin 2, Leverkusen 0. Hoffenheim 4, Union Berlin 0. Leipzig 0, Borussia Dortmund 2. Mainz 3, Werder Bremen 1. Paderborn 1, Borussia Mönchengladbach 3. Schalke 1, Wolfsburg 4. All of those games played simultaneously. It was the second last match of the season. And that concludes the score report brought to you by Tango in St. Louis.
You should know some tango, my friends. El mundo es futuristo. All right, well, let's use that as a segue and to get into our segment with Jim Leeker. We're a little bit early for this, Jim. I hope you can handle the pressure.
That's fine.
Got to think on the fly here, Jim.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm ready.
We're having technical
a la
difficulties.
carte. Literally a la carte.
So, Jim
A la
Leeker.
Susan.
A la Susan. That's very good. Yeah, our sophisticated system,
Patented.
patented, is a Lazy Susan that I bought on Amazon for about $10.
The patent includes
Double tier.
the patent includes the double tier system
Yeah.
with exactly 9 pieces of Gorilla Tape.
Yes.
Not 10.
It's the mounting system.
Well, because it's 3 legs.
9.
Why would you use?
It's the cutting edge, Tom.
You have to do something divisible
It's-
by 3.
It's the edge, Josh. I don't know what it is.
And is that the receipt still on there in case you need to return it?
No, that's something that fell out of Ted's briefcase.
Oh.
Instructions.
Yeah.
Point and
Yeah.
click.
Yeah, go right, turn left. Oh my God, I installed a Wi-Fi booster this week. I don't know if anybody has that experience.
I think
Yep.
I think
Did you use one?
Oh, I got them all through the house.
Oh yeah,
it's helped.
does it?
How much fun was that to install?
Oh my God, there were at least 7 times when I said, I give up, I can't do this. And it took me 7 hours. You know, I mean,
What?
literally. Oh no, I just couldn't get my phone to recognize. Everything's based on your phone, on mine, and it's a mesh extender.
May I ask, what did you put in?
A Netgear, the one recommended by our friend.
Yeah. I put in the Google one, and it literally is the closest thing to plug and play I've ever seen in my life.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was I got four of them around the house, including one in the garage.
This was a plug-in screen.
Yeah, well, mine was a piece of cake.
Sally walked in literally as I'm on the phone, and I'm looking at, check this Wi-Fi password. I had Googled 8 videos. I've got everything that I can possibly have open, and I literally plug, replug, plug. The one time I did it, all of a sudden, it asked me different questions. So I thought, oh, I've advanced, right? Literally, she walks in. How's it going? I said, I think I did it. I mean, oh my God, it was a lot more of a struggle. But you think it makes a difference on this?
So you have it located closer to this side of the house.
No, it's actually in the basement because that's where our office
The
is.
choppiness
Gotcha.
of the video seems more slight.
Oh, well, we also have less wind.
That's true.
That's the big factor, I think. But anyway, so Jim Leeker, now what do you do? What is this position you have?
I'm the current president of the St. Louis Soccer Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but you've been current for about 40 years or something.
No, not that long, but it may seem like it, but it's not. It's a labor of love.
Oh yeah, I know.
It's just, and during this period of time, I've been able to really get involved with our website. If anybody hasn't taken a look at our website, I've listed probably 700. I've been able to find pictures of probably better than 700 of the 900 people.
Do you run your website?
Yes. Now, when we first started to redesign it,
yeah,
I specifically told the committee, I don't want to do this.
Famous last words.
Yeah.
That's almost as good as, you know what you should do, Jim, with someone who's had absolutely no idea what it takes to do anything. You know, that's pretty funny.
Well,
I mean, not for you.
It's like I said though, but it's been a labor of love. But when I first started dealing with the company, and they were so gracious in answering any questions that we had, but it was like a Saturday Night Live skit. I
Sure.
said, now how do I get onto this page? How do I change
God.
this? And he'd basically take my computer and say, here, I'll do it.
Oh yeah.
And I'm going, no, I want to do it.
Oh God.
So long story short, we were able to come to a meeting of the minds. He gave us some nice instructions, and we even got to the point where anybody who was on the 1950 World Cup team, I have a special section about that.
Oh cool.
Anybody who's played for a national or Olympic team, I have a special section on that. And it actually started with Bob Horgan, the former coach at CBC. When he was posthumously inducted into the Hall of Fame, the 10 championship teams that he was a part of all took out ads, and they had their team picture. So I thought, how nice would that be to include that on his page?
Okay, what is the literal spelling of your webpage?
St. Louis Soccer Hall of Fame.com.
SAINTS?
ST.
STLOUIS.
Soccer Hall of Fame.com. And it's gotten to the point now you just start Googling it and it'll come up. It's one of the first things that comes up. And
I can't write the whole thing across here, so I'm gonna.
But I went ahead and I asked Terry Mickler to send me his, some information about him, and we got a nice thing about Terry.
Sir, is this correct?
That's absolutely correct.
This is a first in broadcasting history. Does it show up? I'll take.
Yeah, good.
There you go, folks. You can't ask for anything better than that. Hey, maybe we'll just put that on. I don't want to get too close.
Now, the only so-called problem that I have is that, and I've had this discussion with Dave Lang, a lot of the pictures and a lot of the news articles that have these old-time pictures, it just has an initial, like T. Schwarz,
right,
or J. Leeker. It's just like, is that Tom or Ted? And
well, if you put a little more of your heart and energy, Ted, don't you agree? If you just try a little harder, you could get all that stuff.
But we also have a problem that if there's two Tom Schwarzes.
Oh yeah, there are.
Yeah, and
I sent all my bills to the other.
Yeah. How do you know which year that one person was inducted? Yeah, we're working on it. At least I'm working on it.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm terribly disappointed by this lack of commitment. I mean, here, Jim, all you've been doing is a volunteer project that probably takes the majority of your free time outside your grandchildren, and poured your heart and soul into it. And you're not doing
the Monday morning quarterbacking never ceases.
Yeah, well, that's what we're good at, Sunday morning.
Yeah, no. But it's like I said, it's been a labor of love, and the more I get involved in it, the easier it is. The gentleman at Beanstalk who designed our program, he basically said, maybe we put a little bit more into it than we should have, but you know, I'm
Gives
getting
you
the hang of
gives
it.
you flexibility.
Yeah, I mean, there's things
Who's
that,
the Beanstalk?
that's the, Beanstalk is a web developer.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Yeah.
like Jack. That was, you know.
Yeah,
No,
I think
Jack,
that's-
we also call him Beanstalk.
No, they, like I said, they've been very gracious. We had a few glitches at the beginning, like I said, in communicating, and we were able to work them out. But what was supposed to be a couple of committee members getting involved, and they're all into it. They want to get involved. But during this time, it was just like, okay, I'm gonna play around with it.
Well, that's great.
And then all of a sudden, I got the hang of it for
Right,
this. And
right.
Oh, it's
and
fun.
yeah.
I call it going down the rabbit hole. On occasion, I'll find some stuff, and I became obsessed this past week with after the Mark McGuire Sammy Sosa documentary. Okay? I had one teammate in college. That
Wait a minute,
played-
you're not taking steroids now, are you?
No. I had one college teammate
Worried.
that pitched part of 5 seasons with the Angels. So with BaseballReference.com, you can quickly look up his log of all of the home runs he gave up when he was in the big league. So I was curious, did he give up one, not during the home run chase, but did he give up a home run to McGuire and Sosa during their careers? Well, in his case, there were 22 home runs given up, and Sammy Sosa was one of them when he was with the White Sox. But he had given up home runs to Cal Ripken Jr., Kirby Puckett, a couple more Hall of Famers. Oh, not a Hall of Famer, but a legend, Bo Jackson.
Those shouldn't
Okay?
even count.
Those sorts of things. So we have a group text, and I sent the list to the group text, and I said, Louie, his name's Lewis, we call him Louie. Louie, we need stories. Tell us about these home runs you gave up, and I highlighted the big boys.
Wow.
And the stories,
What a great guy.
the stories were great.
Oh, really?
And I've become friends with Dan Laletta from Equalizer, and he's a baseball nut. And between the two of us, we started looking a little deeper at a couple things. Well, the day he gave up the home run to Kirby Puckett was one of the all-time, listed as one of the all-time games for a California Angel, because Dave Winfield was an Angel at that point and hit 3 home runs in that game. And the game story talked about how Scott and 2 of his teammates had set an American League record and tied a Major League record for wild pitches that day. They had 6 wild pitches. So I spent more time than I'm willing to admit researching deeper into some of these home run events from my friend Scott, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You know, something to that point, what Ted just this week set up a YouTube channel for us, so he's going to put the show on the YouTube channel for people that don't have Facebook. Well, it turns out that a lot of people I know don't, so that you can click that on, and our ultimate ambition, as in mine, is to get it on TuneIn, because then you can say, Alexa, play Soccer Sunday, and they would play it.
Like as a tune-in pod.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tom, I thought your goal was world domination.
Well, that's next.
Okay.
See, you got to take it one step at a time.
It's way too easy right now. Russell
Yeah,
wants
yeah.
to be a challenge.
Yeah, because you guys might forget we had.
I thought of
the
that a
first-
couple of weeks ago.
I just found this morning.
Right.
When I was looking, you may have noticed we have a few things. My
In
basement on
these
display.
difficult times, I don't think our league is
Yeah.
thriving.
No, we haven't. Well, yeah, the whole comic went out of business, so it was. Hey, Josh, I have a technical question for you.
Sure.
Let's maybe Jim, give us a few more things that you want to get now, and then we're gonna, if you don't mind, go to Josh for his top 10,
we're
and
doing that now?
move the camera. Yeah, next.
Yeah.
We'll do that next.
I guess the most important thing is our banquet. The needed cancel or postponement of the 50th anniversary due to the virus has been postponed from the November date to May the 13th. We are planning on doing some sort of a postcard, because not everybody is on Facebook Live, or not everybody is aware of what's, and our letter about the banquet usually goes out sometime in July, we're probably going to put out a postcard just to let everybody know that
Save the date.
save the date. You know, it's been postponed from the November that we've been advertising to the May 13th date. So just be wary of that. And Union Station has been working with the committee so well to make sure that we can pull this off. I mean,
The Union Station is
Well,
immense.
It's in their best interest for at some point people to return to that venue.
Yeah.
They need people to be there and be like, oh, it is open.
Yeah,
Boy, there's
yeah.
a lot of cool stuff
And to
going
ride
on down here.
the thing and all.
Yeah,
and
the
That
everything.
thing to dig.
You know, I've been thinking about this a lot. It's basically the extent to which people say, you know what, we're taking 2020 off. However we can make the adjustments, 2020, put the asterisk on it, and let's move on. And just assume that this was our bad luck, and hopefully we can recover.
And to add to that, what the banquet would normally be in October, November, we actually have been thinking about, okay, we're going to be in May. What's the opportunity of going to a March, April date
Right.
in 2022?
Now it's time to change.
Well, it'll be in conjunction with the beginning of the MLS season.
Yeah.
You know, downtown.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that might be a benefit for us.
Yeah.
So,
We might change from Soccer Sunday to Soccer Saturday. We might change to Soccer Thursday after Ted gets off work. You know, we can do anything we want now, right? And so can you. All right, Ed, give us a little tune here, and we'll come back to you, Jim.
Okay.
And
Tom,
we're-
this is a Monkees song. One written by Michael Nesmith, not Pitbull. What am I doing hanging around?
We have no idea.
Yes, they have.
That's not every Sunday.
That's right. We were really asking it last
I
week.
was going to say. I'm just noticing now looking at Russell. If we gave him the vest and the hat, I'd be expected to go on a safari right now. So top 10?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I thought because this week the news was confirmed that Chelsea completed the signing of Timo Werner from RB Leipzig.
Timo Werner. Bum, 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 bum.
Just so excited for next season that I would do the top 10 players who could transfer to the EPL next
Ooh,
season.
okay.
Again, there's that's going to change. Rumors are going to come up every day, but these were 10 names that over the past couple days have stuck out to me. So I wanted to go through them all here. I'm going to start at number 10 with the striker, who's French, Wissam Ben Yedder, who plays for AS Monaco right now. Ben Yedder has basically had a great goal-scoring record wherever he's played. I know he's played in France, he's played in Spain. This is a guy who combines really good technical finishing with pretty good speed. He's played for the French national team before. Just a guy that I think that he's 29 years old, so still kind of maybe on the back end of his prime. Could be a really good option for teams that aren't looking to spend, near triple digits for a striker. I think he could be a good bargain buy for some. Number 9, Leon Bailey, who's a winger for Bayer Leverkusen, only 22 years old, Jamaican international, fast as can be, and does a really good job of providing service into the box. Right now, Leverkusen's fighting for a Champions League spot in the Bundesliga, and he's been a big part of that. And a young guy who can provide some speed and can be a change of pace for some teams could be a really good option. Number 8, going back to the French league, striker from Lyon, who's 23 years old, Moussa Dembele, actually was the guy that Chelsea were going after before they figured out they could get Timo Werner. He's done well for them in the Champions League. I think he scored the only goal for them in their tie versus Juventus, which is still waiting to be played the second round of that. Again, good young French striker. More of a speed guy than a guy who's going to hold up the ball in certain situations. But again, a young player. That's basically been the trend, to get younger, to get guys with speed. And this guy would be a good option for, again, not someone that you're going to break the bank for. Someone who's a little bit more reasonably priced, who's got a good goal scoring record already. Number 7, going to go to defense here. First defender on the list, Alex Sandro. He's a left back for Juventus, Brazilian international. This is a left back who likes to get forward, and you see that in all these leagues now. It's not just about the defense; it's about can you push the ball, can you get forward, provide crosses in the box. Left-footed left back, who's also again still pretty fast, and he's playing a lot of big matches for Juventus over the years. So a lot of experience. Someone like Chelsea, who's looking at maybe a domestic option in Bencello, who right now is priced, I believe, 80, 90 million. That's a lot.
What?
Yeah, because he's a young guy.
Say,
He's
who?
Ben Chilwell plays for Leicester. He's a left back, next best left back in England.
90 million
Yeah.
pounds?
Well, you're a small team. You got
Ooh.
to strike while the iron's hot. So if you don't want to pay that, which I imagine most teams don't, Sandro could be a much cheaper option and way more experienced. So look at him there from the Italian league. Number 6, I'm going to get into some names that I possibly can't pronounce. Probably should have put on.
I don't think anybody will know.
All right, number 6, Dayot Upamecano.
Oh, come on, you got to have that right on. Russell could have said it, couldn't you?
Upamecano, I believe. So he's the center back for RB Leipzig, who obviously just sold one of their better players in Timo Werner. He's 21 years old, though. And again, you've seen Leipzig's rise in the Bundesliga, getting to the quarterfinals in the Champions League. Upamecano's been a big part of that.
Josh, hold it a second. I have a question. You just made me think of something. So
Hope it's
Timo
something good.
Werner,
Yeah.
is he going to be competing against our guy for playing time?
He is. And right now, I would favor him to get that as long as he works hard and basically does even a little bit lesser level than what he's been doing in the Bundesliga. I think he would start. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic because Chelsea's philosophy this year has been go young and have given chances to young players. And we're talking about Tammy Abraham. He's done well so far.
Oh,
this
no,
season.
I'm thinking about...
Pulisic.
Pulisic? No,
yeah.
they play
Not the
different
same
positions.
position?
No, I'm thinking about him
Tammy,
starting over
but
Tammy.
wow.
Yeah.
Who was a major player for them last
Exactly.
year.
So not starting today, but he's one of the top goal scorers on the team. So
Yeah, but if you get Timo Werner, you
Exactly.
got to take him.
So Upamecano, great young center back. He's also French. Probably going to be starting in the French national team, someday soon. Could be a good buy there. Number 5, going to Ajax, who, as we know, produce great players. 2-3 guys every single year. This guy hasn't made the move like some of the others. Donny van de Beek. He's a center midfielder, 23 years old. This is a guy I think that United should definitely look into. Someone possibly a partner with Paul Pogba.
You think
And
they're
that
going to
holding
keep
central.
Pogba?
I think either keep him or replace him. That's a good point. I mean,
Is his contract out this
no,
year?
the contract's not up. It's just a matter
Oh.
of does he want to be there.
Right.
And that's just been the whole,
It's
side
going
of
to
the
depend
whole
on the rest of
season.
this season.
Exactly.
Oh, my God, he changed the game
If
yesterday.
Friday is anything, they better try to keep him.
Yeah.
But this is a guy who can replace him or partner with them. He's helped Ajax in their Champions League runs over the past couple of years. Real Madrid have been interested in him at one point. So he's a backbone of the Netherlands national team, and he could be a backbone for a Premier League team here coming soon. Number 4 is a wild card. I'm not sure how many people have been paying attention to Barcelona, but they have struck gold with this young international here. Only 17 years old, but he has 6 goals and only 26 appearances for them. Ansu Fati, youngest player in Barcelona's history to score a goal, one of the youngest players ever to score a goal, period. And he's basically lit the world on fire this season. And I know United have been interested, City have been interested, but this price is going to be extremely hefty. We're talking easily triple digits.
Why would Barcelona get rid of him? Let him go.
It's a good question. I think that because of the transfer fee, you don't know in this current time
Right.
financial situations in Barcelona. I know if you're talking about if we're going to buy anybody this summer, we have to sell
Sell some.
players. Now, obviously, they'd like to get rid of some of the fringe players that aren't doing so well. This is a guy who could potentially, after Messi is gone, be the face of your club. But if some team is willing to pay close to $200 million for his services, Barcelona can use that
Do the
and
business.
really do some damage.
Josh,
So,
repeat, 'cause I had to knock their
Yeah.
set down a little bit. Who are you talking about
Ansu
now?
Fati, 17 years old,
Fati. F-I-T-I?
F-A-T-I.
F-A-T-I.
I guess Fati, yeah.
And where's he from?
I don't know. I didn't
It
put
doesn't
that
matter.
down here.
Josh,
Yeah.
doesn't matter. But he's a 17-year-old, and
Winger.
you think...
Who's already got 6 goals in 26 appearances, much less starts, appearances.
And he's available...
He's potentially available. But
Oh.
again, why I say wild card, the transfer fee is right now astronomical. So I don't think
So Barcelona put on
they've slapped at least, like 150 million price tag on him already. So
wow. Okay, so that's good.
Is United going to be willing to pony that up? Probably not in these financial times,
Yeah.
but you never know. There's obviously easily interest there, and I think that's a situation to monitor. He's only 17.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you come back in a couple of years, and I mean, he's just
I think
gonna be
he ought to
better.
stay in college and get his degree personally.
You want to go to college in
Right, I
the
was
first
gonna
place.
say he's got to find a college first.
Oh, I think he can find a college.
Number 3 is a familiar name, especially to Russell. Philip Coutinho. Coutinho's had a rough couple years since leaving Liverpool to Barcelona. He's now with Bayern Munich. They don't use him, even though he's on loan there, and he's available pretty much at a cut rate price. And I know Chelsea have had some interest, United have had some interest. I still think there's a little bit left in him. I think he just needs to find some confidence, rediscover his form. He can still be an impact guy, and he obviously knows the league, and he's had success in the Premier League, which is a big bonus to getting some of these guys who've never played. So to have him available possibly right now could be an interesting bargain buy for some, because they're looking to get rid of him.
Ted just found out that the Fati guy
Yeah.
is a Spanish national from some island, I think, right?
Azores or Canaries.
Or something like that.
There you go. So, number 2, these are the 2 big names. They're both from the Bundesliga. They're both young players, and they're going to be the source of a lot of the rumors and a lot of talk this summer. First one is Kai Havertz. He's an attacking mid/winger for Bayer Leverkusen. 21 years old, 12 goals this season. When they came back from break in the Bundesliga, he scored 5 goals in his first 3 matches. So he came back just on fire. He's trying to help get Leverkusen into
And
the
what's his
Champions
name
League.
again?
Kai Havertz, German international, playing for Leverkusen. I already know about Chelsea. This obviously is one of the guys I've been paying attention to since he's been rumored to go there. But I mean, United, Liverpool, all these teams are interested in acquiring his services, and he would fit in immediately. Even I think in Liverpool, I think he would slot in to some type of a starting role, either in that midfield next to like Henderson on one side, or he could replace one of the top 3 up there. He's that good. At 21, obviously that's a prime age. Right? Prime age to get somebody. So that's one of the other big names. And then the big name
Wait,
is...
hold on. We need a drum roll.
Yeah.
Wait, a strum. How about a strum?
So the number 1 player who I think could transfer to the EPL this summer is Jadon Sancho. I think I've talked a lot about on the show. 20 years old. He's a winger for Borussia Dortmund. 17 goals and 17 assists.
Wow.
So
And
double
he's
double.
English.
And he's English.
Wow.
Former,
English international?
Yeah, former Manchester City.
Say his
academy
name
player,
again.
Jadon Sancho. Formerly of Manchester City. They sold him to Dortmund, and he has blossomed.
He's
in-
the one who really got Pulisic out of the team.
Pretty much, they let Pulisic go because they had this guy, and who can blame him when you can have 17 goals and 17 assists?
Looks like all the guys you mentioned are from the Bundesliga.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, I'm not putting in Premier League players coming here to Premier League, so
Right,
that
right,
took a lot
right,
of guys out.
But I mean, it shows you something about the status of the Bundesliga.
well, yeah, the
How
young
many?
talent.
It made me think. I'm sorry. Finish your point.
Well, yeah, I just think that he's going to cost a lot, but he's an English international, which is big on
Oh.
just the logistics standpoint.
Yeah.
You have to have a certain amount of England players on your team in the Premier League, and 2, the fact that he's really good, which
Yeah.
again,
So Josh, you mentioned a few possibilities. Where do you see some of these players going in the Premier League?
yeah. So I think the main thing is just the financial situation currently with teams having to deal with the pandemic is going to set some teams back. And you may not see the amount of spending say we saw last year, that we could really see a downturn in spending. But if teams are able to acquire funds, and you look at United are able to qualify for the Champions League.
Right.
They're going to need some upgrades, and they're going to get a boatload of money, extra money now to do so. So again, you look at a guy like Sancho, and you look at the team that they're able to produce. Yes, they have some good players in those positions, but they're looking for consistency. If you look at Sancho's numbers, and he's been progressively getting better and better each year to this point now, where he's one of the top players, not just in the Bundesliga, but in the world, especially top young players. That's a guy who could really change things for them. And if they're going to lose Pogba, they need to do something like that. With Liverpool, yes, they won the title this year, but how do you sustain success? Sometimes you just got to bring in fresh blood. You look at City. What is their situation going to be with the Champions League? But they're still going to have boatloads of money no matter what. It's not going to matter. Chelsea, if they're able to qualify for the Champions League, they're going to need reinforcements And then also, I mean, I don't think Tottenham and Arsenal will be in the spending as much, but you never know. With some of the other, bargain guys, someone like a Coutinho would fit well maybe at Tottenham. So again, I think that it's always going to be the big six. I don't see any other of these clubs, not even if a Wolves qualify for the Champions League, I don't think they would get their hands on any one of these guys. But
I wonder what that difference that would make if a team like Wolves could pull it off and make it to the Champions League. You know they'd try to spend some money.
Well, we've seen in the past that the allure of the Premier League is enough. We've seen big names go to lower sides before. I was reading a rumor the other day. This is not a name that many people may know about, but Newcastle, who are, mid-table at best, were rumored to get Ciro Immobile. Who's Ciro Immobile? He's the top scorer in Serie A. Well, if Newcastle, even before the ownership proposal are rumored to him, it just goes to show
wait a second,
how much
Josh.
the Premier
I
League
think those rumor proposals get past the agents are the first ones to know about it.
Right.
And they're the ones saying to people, hey, because so much of that stuff is under the table anyway. They're not telling anybody about it.
But regardless of what happens to the ownership group, Newcastle still will not have Champions League football next year. They'll just have their normal schedule. So
But if a guy's making twice what he's making in Italy or 3 times.
Possibly. I'm not sure what the logistics of that would be. But again,
well, if they've got the Saudi Arabians, Prince.
Right. That's still also a new ownership group has come out because possibly that deal is not going to go through like we talked about, the logistics of that. So it could end up being different. But yeah, so my point is again, some of these lower level teams, you're not going to get some of these guys. But like I said, the list is hundreds of players who are still good that some teams could go after.
All right. We're gonna get back to Mr. Leeker.
I've got a question for Jim.
Yeah.
Lined up. Okay. If you're not following the St. Louis Soccer Hall of Fame on Facebook, you should. Give it a like, give it a follow. Dave Lang is posting a bunch of this day in St. Louis soccer history from his upcoming new edition of Soccer Made in St. Louis. And my question to Jim is, he posts a lot of these legendary matches where St. Louis club teams won championships or played against a European club, a German club. My question to you, Jim Leeker, is if we were sitting around at a bar having drinks and somebody said, Jim, what was the most memorable match that you were ever part of?
That I was ever part of?
That you played in?
I'd have to say, well, professional, I'll say Coventry City. The St. Louis Stars beating Coventry City.
Okay, where was that played?
That was played here in St. Louis at Mullally Field.
And that's Mullally Field off Kings Highway?
Right, which is no longer, well, the field is no longer there.
To give you some perspective, before Mullally Field and the Monsignor Meyer Center were shut down, my kids played CYC games on Mullally Field.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to imagine that was the place where these big matches happened. But again, a lot of the infrastructure around there probably wasn't there. It was probably Mullally Field, surrounded by space, right?
Well, there was a parking lot that they had.
Okay.
But a lot of people used to watch the games from the post office up on the top of the hill.
Okay.
So they didn't have to pay to watch the game because it was one of those things.
I know exactly
But
where you're speaking of.
That was one of the few places that had a stands, and I think that game we had maybe 4,500, maybe 5,000 people to watch that game, and we were the only team in the North American Soccer League that beat Coventry City that day. And what made it memorable is because I became very close friends with Dave Clements.
Okay.
Who ultimately came back to the United States to play for the Cosmos, and then ultimately started coaching, and he actually coached the St. Louis Steamers for a few years.
Okay.
But that was a memorable game. But the one that really, I guess, put put Jim Leeker so all on the map was a game against Big Four, and scored 3 goals. One out of the air with my right, one out of the air with my left, and they were within probably 10 minutes of each other.
So who was Big Four? Where were they from?
That was Dave Berwin, along with our good friend Bill McDermott, and anybody who was from the north side.
Okay. So a lot of the guys, St. Philip Neri guys?
All the St. Philip Neri guys.
Okay.
Yeah. Al Frost, Pat Leahy, but that was a game that it was nothing at halftime, and within the first 10 minutes of the second half.
Jim Leeker put an end to that.
Right. Yeah, and I remember Val Pellizzero coming to me after the game, or coming to me, sometime later, and he says, I was inside, and I came back outside, and I found out that you'd scored 2, and I'm going, oh gosh. Yeah. But,
That's classic.
Yeah, it was memorable.
That was a good day.
Yeah. And high school, scoring against DeBerg High School, which really, if you want to say, changed my focus of playing baseball to soccer.
Okay.
Was we beat DeBerg, and DeBerg at that time
was a big rival.
Yeah, well, it wasn't. DeBerg at that time was the CBC, the Svet High School of that era, and that night I got a phone call from the assistant coach of the Cootis soccer team, the Cootis junior team, and said, hey, we'd like to have you come out to try out for the Cootis junior team. We like what you saw. And I had no idea what he was talking about, but I found out that half the DeBerg team were on the reigning Junior Cup championship team from Cootis.
And what age was that?
16, 17, 18, right around in there.
But when you scored the goal against DeBerg, was that your sophomore year, junior year?
Senior year.
Okay.
Yeah. And
so that changed the course of Jim Leaker's athletic focus.
Yeah, I always wanted to be a baseball player. And a good friend of mine, who we just, during this crazy time, he lives in California. He out of the blue calls me, gets my phone number from a friend, and hey Jim, how you doing? And we haven't talked for 13 years. I guess we were 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
Did you tell him you're going to be on Soccer Sunday?
I should have.
You should have.
But he has a grandson.
So did he have any sense for soccer in your life, or was he so far removed that he didn't even know?
No, he left St. Louis, came back when Mom and Dad were doing well.
Okay.
And he actually says, hey, I actually saw you play at Washington U.
Wow.
And I'm going, holy cow, why didn't you come up and say hi?
Yes.
And he said, I didn't want to.
You're a big deal?
Nah. But over the past 2 or 3 weeks, we've been talking back and forth.
Isn't that great? I told these
yeah.
guys that if you haven't reconnected with someone during this time, you're missing out.
Yeah.
I just talked to my high school soccer coach yesterday, and he and I were chatting about a variety of things, mainly life. And he said, Ted, I've been very fortunate. He goes, we're doing fine. He goes, but the biggest thing I'm missing right now is I don't get to hug on my grandkids.
Oh,
and he goes, it's breaking my heart.
Yeah.
Jim's got like 30 grandkids.
Yeah.
I mean, he has like let me see.
When we got a chance to get close to him, out of the mouths of babes, the one says, "Don't they have germs anymore?"
Oh no!
They were convinced that we all,
because I was telling them that.
Oh.
I was sending them little emails. Say, hey, that guy calls himself Grandpa.
You gotta watch him.
Oh,
yeah.
They're so great. They're so great, and the one little Teddy will come up and whisper in my ear with his hands cupped, "I love you, Grandpa." And I'll turn to him and I cut my ear. I love you, Teddy. And he'll start laughing, and he'll look in my ear, and then it's just back and forth. Yeah, it's a great time. It's lost time, but it was. I hate to say it was amazing.
It's going to make us relish some things so much more
Yeah.
when this is behind us.
Yep.
Okay, well, I got a question. Jim, we're going to be talking about the EPL for the next 10 minutes or so. Give us, you got a team? I can't remember. You don't follow a particular team, do you?
Not really. My favorite team was one of the first ones I seen here in St. Louis was Nottingham Forest.
Yeah?
You know,
Oh,
I
that's
really,
when they were great.
Yeah, that's when they were. You know, I love Nottingham Forest. I don't know if it was just the name
Yeah.
or the style that they played, but
They're currently in a playoff spot. If the league finished today, they'd be in a playoff spot for that tournament to determine the final team to be promoted.
Yeah.
So there's a chance they could come up to the Premier League next year.
So that was.
That's the era of Brian Clough, or was it before that?
You know, I'm not sure. I'm not
70s? Late 70s, mid 70s?
sure. Late 60s,
So, but
early
before Klopp.
70s. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
When he was getting it done, when guys are in the
I'm
middle of
with
getting
you.
it done, they don't know about the other guys.
well, I was just thinking
No.
what you were talking, when Ted asked you, that was a brilliant question, I think. So you played against Coventry City. How old were you then?
22, 23.
And Coventry City was a real deal
Oh,
team then.
yeah, they were a real deal.
First
Yeah.
division
Yeah,
team.
yeah.
Yeah. And at that, before that game, in the build-up, that was with Kudus?
No, that was with the St. Louis Stars.
Oh, okay, with the Stars. So all those guys knew about what English football was.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to get the team up. But for you, by that time, what did you know about the English football?
Nothing other than I watched on television. Whether you got a chance to watch television?
Almost never.
Never.
Because it was
Yeah,
soccer
it was
made in
soccer made
Germany.
Yeah.
So you would,
Oh,
at
no.
that time, it
Yeah,
would
it
have
was-
been for you guys, I'm guessing, the German league would have been it, right?
Oh,
Because you
definitely.
had soccer made
Yeah.
in Germany.
Yeah. Everybody watched. It was Channel 9 Sunday morning,
Yeah.
basically.
Toby Charles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Borussia Mönchengladbach.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part of the show when Russell says Borussia Mönchengladbach. Well, however he says it. I said it once.
Gesundheit.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So nowadays, who do you follow?
Who do I follow? I follow them all.
Yeah.
I get frustrated when I watch Manchester United because
Oh,
I think
me
they
too.
should be so good,
Yeah.
and I've seen them almost deteriorate. And I hate to use that word, but you know, in that game yesterday, you know, they ran right past their backfield. You know, and
Yeah.
I've never seen that happen before.
No. Well,
Yeah, so
what
it was-
when Josh said before about McGuire,
Yeah.
you know, there goes 90 million. I mean,
Well, yeah, I looked at McGuire before this happened. And I'm going, gee whiz, he's a stocky guy.
Right.
I've never seen a stocky guy in the back being being the last man on defense
Right.
for Manchester United. You always think of, you know, a big tall fellow who could, you know, keep up with these young whippersnappers,
Right.
young forwards.
I think the problems with him is that what made him successful. So his previous stop was at Leicester when they've been doing great. I think he worked with better partners. I think United's defense has been under supplied
Constant
over the
change,
years.
yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
again, I also think that something that helped is that he scored goals off of corner kicks, you know, a decent amount of time. And this year, he hasn't done much of that. And that obviously, as a defender, kind of takes away if you're having some defensive struggles. If you're scoring on the other end, well, that kind of supplements that. So he hasn't been doing that. And then, if he's not working with a partner that can cover him from a speed, because he got exposed speed-wise there, being a big guy, he was out of his element. And I think that just goes. You think about it, he's got Luke Shaw on the other side, and he's another. You know, I don't want to be mean or anything. Athletic-wise, he's not, you know, the fleetest of foot. So I just think the people around him don't exactly help.
I don't know.
Guys,
I don't know.
real quickly. Something's happened with our video feed. I'm
Oh.
gonna end this live.
Okay.
And I'm gonna crank it up again. Is it back?
Yes, back.
Okay. Good.
We're good.
Never mind.
Never mind.
What-
I don't think any of the audio was compromised.
I'm trying
But I think that the video
Video.
seems
Because that
to
was the
have.
best 10 minutes we ever did.
Well, you know what? It's one of those things.
Ted.
I was having a mini panic attack, and I'm like, that was a really cool conversation. I hope we didn't miss it.
Ted, remember when we were on Hampton during the X days, or was it the man? I think we were all pretty much on all the time as the man. But when we were the X, 1380, we never knew
Right.
if we were going to be on the air.
Yeah.
They told us, well, we'll give you the audio, the files, but we had no idea if we were going to be on the air because it was going out every week.
We would find out sometimes halfway through
Right,
the show.
right.
Oh, you're not on the air, by the way.
Somebody call us and tell us.
Josh said fleet of feet.
Yeah.
Okay. Yesterday, one of the commentators, and I can't remember which game it was, he said on the air, because I got the caption going now too, because everything was happening and I don't want to miss it. He says, it looks like he was running in mud. I'm going, oh my, now that wasn't the Manchester United game, but it was one of the games. It might have been Bundesliga.
One of the things that I miss most, and I gotta be honest with you, most of the time, I got the games on most of the time, but most of the time, we're really popular now.
It's not a score update, by the way.
Somebody's car. Or it might be one of ours. Uh-oh. Everybody's exiting.
Everybody's
It's
checking
not,
their
I know
keys.
it's not mine.
Could be the Jaguar. But missed it.
Who's it?
And somebody's probably trying to
Nobody's
steal
breaking
it.
into it. Unfortunately,
Somebody's
if
trying
they
to
did, they'd
steal
move
Ed's
fast.
Jaguar. Ed, next week you better park in the driveway.
I didn't know we were doing the show in the hood. Man.
Yeah, that's right. That's funny. I heard noise at the ring went off, but there was noise. That was great. So one of the things I missed most was that commentary. I love Lee Dixon now.
Lee Dixon
I
is.
did not like him as a player, but I love him as a commentator because he just says a lot of times the most inappropriate things.
Yeah, and he's the one who's taking part of his time listening to the commentary with the crowd noise and sometimes without the crowd noise.
I hate the crowd noise.
As a commentator, it's kind of confusing, I think, not to have some crowd noise in your ear because they're not used to that. They're used to being in the middle of the crowd and commentating.
It happened
So
for
they're
the first,
finding it
like,
disorienting.
15 minutes or something for one of the Premier League games, and Arlo White's like saying, now we've got the crowd noise in our hand, it's a lot more normal, so it freaked him out. So I have to imagine that it's just kind of a safety net for some others. I really don't mind it. I mean, it's...
Well, it's because you said what you told us the first week. The guy said he wanted to have sex with his grandma or something.
Yeah, I mean, you could get those on-field things. That's definitely not what it is. But no, I just think it's more of a normalized atmosphere. I think the problem with the Premier League was it was too loud. The Bundesliga had it correct, whatever it was. Because if you watch those matches, you barely notice anything. I think the first few matches the Premier League, they had it amped up a little too much. And at that point, yeah, it can distract you. Like, if I can't hear the broadcasters over the crowd noise, then that just doesn't work. But
well, I think the broadcasters typically for the Premier League are so good that, I mean, because it's not just like calling a game. They're telling you about their culture, which and I miss that for sure.
Josh, you have anything else on the EPL?
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to wrap up. So on Friday, besides the United-Tottenham game,
we let Jim handle
I was going to say.
Did you see that?
That lazy Susan.
Right.
It was so tempting. It was tempting in the entire show. And he just had to spin it like it was Wheel of Fortune.
Hopefully our viewership not on the floor right now. Just
Your union apprenticeship is on hold.
But we had talked about the relegation battle. The first test was Norwich at home against Southampton, and Russell led off the score. That was sad to watch. I watched a few minutes of that, and I thought, do they know how much danger they're in?
Oh,
I watched pretty much the whole game, and they were just not in the game, and they were at home. We talked about the home and away thing with no crowd. I mean,
and they're not playing. They're not playing Manchester City. They're playing Southampton.
Yeah.
Who are only a few points higher up than some of the higher up relegation teams. So
But Southampton does have some talented players.
they do, and they showed up on.
They showed up. They're playing well as a team right now.
So that's tough for Norwich to take because they're in some real trouble. Saturday we talked about Wolves and West Ham. West Ham have got to watch themselves because they can't take too many of those matches. They played okay for the first half, but like we said, Chiari came on and they had no answer for the offensive attack. The Wolves looked like Wolves. So that was good for Wolves, but it's more bad for West Ham as they try to fight off relegation.
Again, a home game, they lost.
Correct.
Yeah.
Another important match, Arsenal
took her on the chin again on Saturday.
Oh, darn.
I watched that with my brother, and I just kept thinking to myself, there are a lot of factors that contribute to this. They lose their goalkeeper in that match to a really
Horrible foul.
challenge, bad challenge, really bad. I don't blame them at all for being mad. The guy should have pulled up. But they lose their goalkeeper, and that can obviously discombobulate some. But they had the lead, it was 1-0, and then they just completely fall apart on the defensive end. Again, I think to myself, I'm like, there's a real lack of talent.
They lost it in their heads as well.
Right. Lack of talent, lack of leadership.
It's Kroenke. It's their curse.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
a
if you want to get
Kroenke
talent,
curse.
well, he's not buying up on the talent
All right.
standpoint.
Okay. We
And
have the
then,
last 10 minutes. So you-
then real quickly, like I said, Palace beat Bournemouth, which was a good result for them. And today, we got Chelsea on the screen right now, with everybody messing up, and they're really in their first two matches back. Tottenham United draw, Sheffield draw, then lose. Wolves did win, but Leicester also drew.
Arsenal 2 losses.
Right. This is an
Yeah.
opportunity today to pick up 3 points and pick some space up. So I'm hoping they've looked good. I've seen a couple shots on goal that almost went in, but hopefully they get on the score sheet. And then later today, Everton versus Liverpool. Liverpool win today. Now, I don't think City's going to lose on Monday, Russ, so I think you're going to have to wait till Wednesday.
Till
but-
Wednesday when they play at home against Crystal Palace.
Yeah, but
I
you got to
don't
win
think
today.
City's going to lose again.
Probably not.
They look
Yeah.
Liverpool
great.
may. I mean,
They're the
Liverpool may still
only
drop
team
again.
I've seen. Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing Liverpool, but they were the only team that I saw that of the games I watched that I saw looked dominant.
Yeah, and I was
they were practicing.
I was joking with my brother, who was an Arsenal fan. It was before the Luiz penalty. I said it's 1-0. I said, well, I'm really looking forward to it because they had Aguero, they had Sane, and they had Bernardo Silva on the bench. And I'm like, they could really do like a hockey type shift thing where it's 3 guys on, 3 guys off.
It'd be cool if they did 5. Yeah, they got 5 subs now, don't they?
Yeah, they got to break them up though.
How
but
cool
yeah.
would it be just bring on 5 new guys?
You could
at
do
the
that.
same time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's
That's it. Yep.
all right.
That was the first week.
Well,
Great
okay,
week.
but leave the camera on Josh for a minute, and then we'll swing around to everybody if you don't mind, Ted. Josh, quickly, I want you to hit on what the decisions about the Champions League.
Champions League, for people who didn't see, it's coming back. They're going to complete it. It's going to start August 7th, I believe. The remaining second round ties, so for people trying to remember, first ties played at one home stadium, second ties played at the other. Those second ties will still be played at the stadiums of the teams that were going to host them. After those are completed and we move into the quarterfinal stage, all the matches will be moved to Lisbon. And that is where the tournament will be completed. It'll be a abbreviated, accelerated tournament where it's just going to be one tie. It's like a World Cup. Do or die quarterfinals instead of 2 ties. A one-off semifinal. And then we'll get to the final. It'll all be in the span of a few weeks, and the tournament will be completed at the end of August.
So, you have to start to get finished in a month. You pretty much have to start at the beginning of August, right?
Right. August 7th is when they'll start.
August 7th.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then the final was supposed to be in Istanbul this year.
Yeah.
All the future years have been shifted back by a year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Exactly.
So
So,
they're
no,
doing something similar for the UEFA Cup.
correct. Europa League 2.
Europa League, sorry.
Europa League, they've got to finish up the ties that they still do, the home ties. But when everyone's finished with the round that they're in and all the teams have moved on, then they'll move to a centralized location.
In
as
Germany,
well.
they're going to be in Germany.
They're gonna be in Germany.
Okay, all right, Russell, final
Also-
thoughts? Oh,
Real quickly, if we're just going around, I want to say Happy Father's Day,
Oh.
first to all you guys, for the most part.
Thank you.
And then Happy Father's Day to my dad, who's been a huge influence in my life. I mean, I'm not here talking about sports without my dad. So,
praise the Lord.
So,
Russell.
footnote for most people, but yesterday the young New Zealand football player got to start for Bayern Munich, Sarpreet Singh, and did a good job. Came off after 63 minutes.
You
Put him
guys
in
all
the ship.
stick together, don't you?
Absolutely. So congratulations to him. And he'll be getting used more and more during this last compressed part of the season for Bayern Munich.
U.S. international Chris Richards, who's 20 years old, came on as a late substitute, only the second ever U.S. player to play for Bayern Munich. The first
Wow.
was Landon Donovan. So,
He
good
wasn't
company.
bad.
Good company.
Ted?
Happy Father's Day to everyone. If you haven't had a chance to see Long Gone Summer, it really is an homage to the St. Louis fans that summer of '98. I'm one that felt a little duped once it came to light that everybody was juiced. I should have known. I had friends who were playing professional baseball during that era. I had conversations with some of them. It was such a fun ride. You can't take that away from anybody. It's really well done. It really is a postcard for St. Louis and Cardinal baseball. But if you want to see a great movie about a similar event. If you have any access to HBO and the HBO library, and it may be on other streaming services now, Billy Crystal made a movie called 61. It was about Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle chasing the same record, the Babe Ruth record, and Roger Maris, Thomas Jane plays Mickey Mantle, and the young man Barry Pepper plays Maris. Barry Pepper was the same guy. If you've seen Saving Private Ryan, he was the sniper.
Right.
Great actor. 61. It is a timeless film about an athletic achievement and the personal and mental struggle that an individual went through to achieve greatness. So, thanks for being here, folks, and check out YouTube. I'll be posting the YouTube version of this live video later today.
Ted, before you go on there, where is the other documentary?
Long Gone Summer?
Yes.
That's ESPN.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep,
So they're replaying it. It's a 30 for 30. So they'll be replaying it on the regular ESPN networks for the next month or so. And then I've mentioned before, sign up for ESPN Plus for a month. Watch the
Love of the game.
Basketball Love Story. Watch the Michael Jordan documentary about the final season. And again, all the 30 for 30s are great, but
Watch some
Right.
rugby as well. So
Yeah.
rugby is on at the moment on ESPN Plus.
that too.
Okay, Mr. Leeker.
Thank you.
Thought.
Final thought, once again, happy Father's Day to everybody, my sons and my sons-in-laws. So it's been a great run to be here.
Oh, good.
Thank you very
Enjoyed
much.
yourself? Share it. Edmundo.
What's
Final
up?
thoughts.
Monday was my last day in my longtime career.
Woo! Somebody tried to steal your Jaguar.
So I have entered the halls of the separation, 90-day separation window, which my company affords me, and I basically retired. Some would say that began quite some time ago.
Some would.
And I would not debate that. So I am
Some would say you're just tired.
officially, retired. So I'm officially an ex-employee, and I'm happy with how that went. My wife and friends surprised me with a big Zoom that had physicians from WashU and friends of mine from all around the country during cocktails on Friday night. So that was a huge Father's Day present to me.
That's cool.
And I want to wish all the dads out there happy Father's Day. Spend time with your children. That's the best thing you can do in life.
Thank you.
Mr. Tom.
Okay, finally, here we are, end of the show. It's amazing to me how fast the time goes, but it's over. So we'll be back. Please do me a favor, do us a favor. If you like this show, if you like this experience, share it on Facebook. We're in a new world, folks. I don't know that there's going to be AM radio in our future. I think this is our future for sure. Ted's looking into Ted's already got the YouTube thing going.
YouTube is shareable as well.
Yeah.
On
So
every YouTube video, there's a little arrow icon that says share. It gives you a short link to copy.
Yeah.
It's about 15 characters. You click on it, copy, and you can paste it into an email, a text, a Facebook post, an instant message.
cool. There you have it. Ed, take us out. We're going to leave.
You have been watching STL United Soccer Sunday, presented by NGK Law Firm. Until next time, enjoy the beautiful game.
Bye-bye.